Welcome to Money Mode, the channel that makes money talk less confusing and way more useful. Let's get into it. Have you ever bought a stock right before it crashed or sold one right before it soared? You are not alone, and it is not bad luck. It has a name: FOMO, the fear of missing out. Understanding why it quietly controls so many investors could save you from repeating the same painful mistake over and over again. Picture this. A stock has been quietly climbing for weeks. Financial news channels start mentioning it. Friends start talking about it at dinner. Social media fills with screenshots of gains. Suddenly, everyone around you seems to be getting rich, except you. That urgent, uncomfortable feeling to jump in before it is too late is FOMO taking control of your decisions. Here is the uncomfortable truth. By the time a trend becomes obvious enough for the average person to notice, much of the easy profit has often already been made. The early investors bought when the asset was unloved, boring, or even mocked. You are buying after the price has already surged, often near the peak, driven not by careful analysis, but by raw emotion. Then the inevitable happens. The price stalls. It dips. Panic spreads through the same crowd that was celebrating just days earlier, and because fear moves even faster than greed, people rush to sell, often at a loss, just to escape watching their money shrink further. This is the cycle. Buy high out of excitement, sell low out of fear, and repeat, sometimes for years, without ever noticing the pattern. History is full of examples. A speculative craze pushes an asset far beyond any reasonable value. Ordinary people pile in late, convinced the rise will never end, and when the crash finally comes, the very same latecomers are left holding the losses, while the early movers have already walked away with the profits. The names and assets change across centuries, but the emotional script stays remarkably similar. Why does this keep happening, even to smart, disciplined people? Psychologists point to a few powerful forces. First, herd behavior. Humans evolved to survive by following the group. If everyone around you is doing something, your brain assumes it must be safe or beneficial. In investing, that ancient instinct backfires spectacularly. Second, loss aversion. Behavioral economics suggests that the pain of losing money feels roughly twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. So when a position drops, panic can override logic entirely, pushing people to sell simply to stop the emotional bleeding, even when the fundamentals have not changed at all. Third, recency bias. Our brains give recent events far more weight than historical patterns. If a price has risen for weeks, it feels like it will keep rising forever. If it just crashed, it feels like it will keep falling forever. Neither assumption reflects how markets actually behave over longer stretches of time. Finally, there is social proof combined with regret avoidance. Nobody wants to be the person who missed the next big opportunity while everyone else profited. That anticipated regret can be more motivating than any spreadsheet of numbers, quietly pushing people to act on emotion rather than a clear, pre-written plan. So how do experienced, long-term investors try to break this cycle? A few habits show up again and again. They set a plan before emotions ever get involved, deciding in advance what to buy, at what price range, and for how long to hold, regardless of the noise outside. They avoid checking prices constantly, since obsessive monitoring only fuels impulsive decisions in moments of stress. They also remind themselves of a simple truth. Missing one opportunity is not a financial disaster, but panic selling into a downturn can lock in real, permanent losses that a little patience might have avoided. Another powerful tool is zooming out. A chart that looks terrifying over a single week can look like a minor bump on a 10-year timeline. Long-term perspective is one of the simplest ways to quiet short-term panic. FOMO will probably never disappear completely. It is wired deep into how human brains evaluate risk and reward, a survival instinct from a world very different from modern markets. But recognizing it in the moment, noticing that urgent, anxious pull to act right now, can be the difference between a decision you planned for calmly and one you regret for years. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. Always do your own research or consult a licensed professional before making financial decisions. If this helped you understand your own investing habits a little better, follow along for more clear, no-hype explanations of how money and markets really work.